What's up, everybody? How are you? Happy Friday. Oh, man. Oh, we're starting off nice and early today. Thanks, Elliot. Appreciate the love. Yeah, so as you guys saw from the bit of a back and forth on Instagram today, we went from not having a show to deciding to do a little bit something special. This was originally meant for next week, but we decided to do it tonight. Yeah, that's basically it. Our guest tonight is our very own Nick of the Reptile Ward, and yeah, we're just gonna bring him in and get to it. And there you go. What's up, Nick?
Not too much. Just enjoying my Friday night, having a drink, having a smoke.
Perfect. So, if anybody is not aware, this is Nick. This is the other half of the Reptile Ward, the half that doesn't appear on camera nearly as often.
I'm like a Sasquatch.
So basically yeah, me too. Thanks, Sal. So basically what we're going to do here is I'm going to ask Nick some questions as I would any of our guests, and I'm basically going to let him answer them his way first, and then I'm going to add my 2 cents in, because obviously a lot of the stuff he's going to say has to do with me because, being business partners and all. But I'm going to let him answer however way he wants without any input on my end. And then, yeah, I'll kind of tag my input in at the end. But this is all about letting you guys know, or letting you guys get to know Nick and not listen to me ramble. So, yeah, we're just gonna jump right in. Figure, why the hell not? This is really funny because this has to do with me, but we're just going by the order of questions I have them in. So, Nick, how'd you get into the hobby?
I had this friend who very often we would congregate at his apartment to drink. I think at the time it was like our usual Friday night thing. And he happened to breed snakes. Well, he was just getting back into it at the time. And this was something I was very interested in. And it just so happened, I think it was obviously I'm beating around the bush here, but it was Chris's. So I think it was 2 years after that, maybe a year and a half. There was a weekend, he had started volunteering at Billy's, and there was a weekend they needed help. And he remembered that every time I would come over, I would ask him questions. I would come in and take a look at his animals. I think at the time you just had Snooky and Mango?
I had Snooky, not Snooky, Mango, and then the banana pinstripe pastel butter male or whatever it was. Oh, and I had the Enchi Spectre.
Yes. So he had started volunteering at Billy's. They were short one weekend, so he messaged me and was like, "Hey, do you mind coming in? You're always interested in this stuff. I get paid X amount, but I can throw you a bottle of booze. You can just give me whatever it is because you'll probably never come back. And I was like, sure. I don't really have anything going on. That sounds interesting, even if it's just a Saturday. And that one Saturday turned into another and another and another. And I think after about a month of me coming in and volunteering at Billy's with the idea in mind that I saw a couple cool pie combos when I was there and I really wanted one. So I'm going to work here, earn a credit, buy my snake, and that's probably going to be it. Billy happened to get an extra ARS rack. It was the 2039. Yeah, the one directly behind Chris, actually. And he was like, "Okay, I'm looking for X amount for it." And Chris was like, "That's a really good price." And I just looked at him like, "Do you want to buy it? Like, I'm cool with splitting on it." And that's how it all started. I think a couple weeks after that, I got my very own first snake, which was the only animal here up until last year, which is kind of crazy. No, the year before last, which is kind of crazy to think about. Because now I can't remember how many. But yeah, that's how it started. It was a very slippery slope.
So yeah, I've told the story a lot, but basically Nick and I started the Reptile Ward without realizing we had started the Reptile Ward. Basically by just being like, we should do that. Yeah, that makes sense. And then we were both like, holy crap. Like, I guess we both just had the same idea at the same time. So obviously it wasn't the Reptile Ward at the time, but we realized whatever we wanted to do was this. So, it was it was pretty cool. The rack certainly wasn't this tall when when we bought it, but it's grown. And yeah, since we bought 4 more ARS racks between the two of us.
Yep.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Then the Serpent Stacks rack, and we got the other rack coming.
Yep.
By the way, remind me after this, I have to talk to you about that.
Sounds good.
That's funny. So Nick and I have known each other for a very, very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a few times when I've tried to get him or buddy Adam or buddy Jacob interested in the hobby. And I actually didn't think Nick would be the one that I converted. I thought it would be our buddy Jacob, who, funny enough, kind of started way after Nick and I became the Reptile Ward. He slowly became part of the hobby. There probably had to be 4 or 5 Friday nights where I tried to explain everything to you and the jeans and stuff, and you guys are just like, "Oh yeah, they're pretty, they're cool looking, I guess." So
yeah, I think it was actually seeing what was possible in person, like actually getting into mutation creation and seeing all the
because at the time
really
I didn't really have much in the way of crazy looking combos, right?
Mango was, I think, the craziest thing you had visually.
And she's only a pastel lesser. Well, OD we know also now, but Nick's favorite morph. A question from Robert Johnson.
Much like Chris's, this is kind of like, low hanging fruit here, but it's pied. It's absolutely pied. That's what got me in. That's what keeps me in. It's funny, me and Chris were the polar opposites. When I first got in, I didn't really think highly of clowns at all. I was like, oh, cool, it's got a cool head stamp, and that's kind of it. And that was him with pieds, but because of working together, it sort of flipped over. So now I like both.
So it worked out really well for both of us in that we came into this. Nick wasn't a big fan of clowns, but he loved pieds, and I did not like pieds at all, but I love clowns. And we both sort of eventually swung each other's opinions, so much so that we were like, should clown pied just be the thing that we go after the hardest? And we kind of just went with it. We were like, it just makes sense because we both love clown pieds. Mm-hmm. And basically any combo of clown pied either of us has seen has been outstanding. So, it just worked out incredibly well. So,
well, to what Storm said, it's kind of a combination. So he's like the brain that focuses on what we have and what makes sense to what benefits us most for what we have. My brain kind of works on I'm stoned at 4 a.m. and I'm on Morph Market and I stumble across bongo pied combos, and all of a sudden I've got to try to talk him into bongo. That's the most recent example, but yeah, that's how the mind share kind of works.
And it's kind of funny because Nick comes up with some of these like really out of left field ideas that end up being fantastic for pairings and stuff like that. And we 100% attribute it to how much he smokes and stuff.
Yep.
But recently I've been smoking a little more and drinking a little bit less. You need to go grab that?
Yeah, for 1 second.
Yeah, go grab it, Nick. Nick's just got to grab his food or whatever. No biggie. But anyway, I'll just finish the story. But basically, Nick usually comes up with these really wild ideas. And I mean, the straightforward stuff, we don't need special enhancements to figure out. Like, yeah, I'm going to put my banana ODYB entry pied to this OD het red het pied. But just some of our out of left field pairings. Like, we weren't quite sure what we were going to do with our champagne entry special yellow belly male. And he made some I just totally got sidetracked reading one of the comments. Sorry, guys. But sorry. Anyway, yeah, the champagne entry yellow belly special whatever male. Then Nick will text me literally at like 5 a.m. and be like, "Oh, what about this?" I'm just like, "Oh my god, that's actually a fantastic idea." Like, and we're not even super like adult female heavy, so it shouldn't be that hard for us. But I recently had, well, it was today, wasn't it, Nick?
Yep.
I had a Nick moment in terms of an idea that I had, and are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. And basically, we have these two really heavy hitter animals, but neither of us even thought about putting them together. We've had like 5 other different ideas of what to do with this female, and this poor male is getting worked to death this year. But when we realized what it could make for us, it worked out super well with a female we also have growing up. Like to the point where like it couldn't work out better. So yeah, that was fun. I don't even really know if I want to.
I think we keep that one.
Is.
Yeah, we'll keep that one in our pocket for a little bit.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool pairing. I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah, it's a double. We'll say it's a double recessive project.
It is a double recessive project, but it's a It's a super. It's a possible super, possible allelic, possible double recessive project. So it's pretty wild. Like when I texted it to Nick, I literally texted it in all capitals, and he replied like either "holy shit" or "oh fuck."
Yep.
I can't remember which, but yeah. Oh, sorry, Sierra's dinner just showed up. I had to let them in. Robert Johnson said, "Wish I had a partner in crime." Man, having a partner, having somebody like knowing people and being able to text buddies and stuff like that when cool stuff happens is great. I had that before when I was in the hobby. It's always awesome just to have people to talk to and share your like excitement with. But when you have somebody that's actually invested in your animals, like, and I shouldn't say your animals, but like invested in each other's animal, having somebody that you're doing this with, that you're not only doing it for the investment, like it's the coolest feeling because literally, like I always go back to it, but like Billy always goes, "Oh, when Austin wins the bet thing, I win." Like it's super cool when one of us does something really awesome because we both benefit no matter what. If Nick finds a really cool animal, you know what I mean? I don't just get to be excited because Nick gets this cool animal. We get this cool animal. Like there's just an extra layer of excitement to being like, "Oh shit, it's day 51 for these eggs. When you come over and cut them?" Or like it, I don't know. It just makes everything a little bit cooler and a little bit more fun to share.
And it helps too because obviously everybody has kind of a different skill set. Like I'm really good at getting animals that aren't eating to eat, but getting them to consistently eat is something I'm not great at. Chris is very good at once they're eating, getting them to eat regularly. So that's something that works out very, very well to be able like, okay, I can start them here, and then once they're established, we can move them over there and get them nice and big.
Hotsagaya, Sal asks, is there a gene you guys don't agree on?
There's one.
Which one?
An answer.
I don't know why you would think we don't agree on it.
Well, just the whole, I don't think we should get into it because we're already working.
Oh, I don't care either way.
Yeah.
I actually,
yeah.
I like DG better anyway.
Yeah. But beyond that, not really. We're pretty much on the same page about a lot of, like, all of it, really.
It's weird because I feel like sometimes we start off on opposite ends of an opinion on something, but then either the more we learn about it or like just the more information we get on it, it ends up steering us in the same direction. Like bamboo. I think you were the one that really was interested in getting some bamboo stuff at first, and I was like, I don't know. And then we got all that stuff from Billy at the CRBE, and we were both kind of like, do we really need it though?
Yeah, it's true. Trying to think of other ones. I guess bongo at first too. You were kind of like, I don't really know. It doesn't really do anything. And then I kind of showed you some combos, and we saw the girl that we ended up getting from Nathan.
Well, remember I was the one that messaged you, and I was like, hey, we're being offered this bongo animal. I was like, I don't know anything about it, but I wanted to run it by you because it's being offered to us for this really good price. And you were like, oh shit, yeah, I've been looking into it, but whatever. Like I'm excited about it. And I was like, I don't know. So I started looking it up, and I was like, But no, you were 100% correct because that animal is one of my favorite animals we have in this collection.
Yeah.
The Mystic Bongo. Paul is going off on Hardwick. Me and Nick are both 100% okay with that.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up, Cody? All right, let's go to one of our. Okay, well, this is number 2, but I'm going to leave this to have you answer.
Obviously you talked about the clown pied stuff earlier. That's the big one that we've been kind of building towards for the last 2 years. And this year we actually have a shot potentially, if things work out in our favor. So that's exciting. Beyond that, we've had some dreamsicle stuff cooking for a little while. This year we're actually going to see some payoff for that. We're not just going to make some cool hets and double hets and pied stuff. And then obviously the 2 big pillars of our operation, pied and clown stuff. Like last year, we unfortunately didn't hit any visual pied stuff, even though we had a couple chances. We had a lot of cool clown stuff come out, but
and we kind of whiffed on the clown stuff too, though. I don't mean to interject, but like we had that one clutch of all clowns, and then did we hit another one? I don't think we did.
No, I think you're right. We
whiffed on that clown clutch. Like the male leopard lesser clown was really nice, but we didn't need him.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we kind of whiffed on both. Like we made some really cool hets in both projects.
Yeah.
But we kind of got fucked on both.
So I guess visual stuff is the big thing. Yeah, that's it. We don't like Chris has said many times, we don't really have any secret projects for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like secret animals that we're not talking about or pairings, but not really.
I don't even know if we have any secret animals that we haven't shown.
No.
Not on
and when I said
anyway.
that, yeah, when I said that, I knew it was wrong. But more secret pairings, like pairings, we don't really talk about. That's the only thing. But
I mean, I feel like we share most of them. But like when we tried to do the ivory pie one last year, we didn't really tell anybody, and then it didn't turn out great. But it just, I don't know. I personally don't see a point in secret.
Yeah, it's not really how we operate. So
if you want to copy us, I mean, feel free. Just give us the credit at least. Like,
yeah, we're probably gonna get there. Actually, our luck is pretty shitty, so you might get there first. But yeah, like Chris said, just give us the credit for the
idea. Yeah, when you beat us to our own project, at least give us credit for it.
Yeah, we'll be out there hitting fucking clutches of full hat males, then you'll have hit 3 visuals by then.
I mean, we had better luck on a head-to-head pairing this year, Nick, than we had on multiple head-to-visual pairings. So
that's true.
Other than what you already talked about, is there any other projects we're working on that you want to talk about or mention?
Obviously, not obviously, but have you talked about the Triple Boy?
He's been mentioned. He's
So
not a
I guess
secret.
okay. So we're kind of this year is about laying the groundwork for I guess what's going to be kind of the big focus kind of for us for the next couple of years, which is the Ultramel Hypopide male that we split on with Billy. So it's just making some stuff, getting some, hopefully hitting some females that'll work well for that project ready is kind of the other thing we're working on right now.
Then we also have a little bit of DG stuff, which
Yep.
we also have a male with Billy. We share a male, Leopard DG Hepide. He's doing some really big work over here right now. Just waiting
Yep.
to see what Billy's going to send over for him.
Yep. We're gonna get some visual pides out of him this year. Gonna get a couple visual DG pides out of him. Pos pides, I guess. So
in the chat, they're going off about the pastel lesser leopard female I just posted before we went live.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Sorry guys, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings by posting up a beautiful snake. I definitely won't show it off during this live. Oh, this is kind of funny because I want to know if you can figure this out on your own without any input.
I want to say low estimate 21, maybe 22. High estimate we could be creeping up towards 30.
Okay, yeah, that's good range. I was saying like 15 to 28. You're just going a little more hopeful, which is totally fine.
I'm just basing it off. I know that there's 11 females here that are building right now, and I don't know how many are building at your house. Plus, we've already had a couple like that are deeper in the process. So
that was a good way to say it.
Thank you.
You almost caught yourself there, but yeah, you know what? I would say the stages your girls are at, I wouldn't base it off them all going, but based on how far along some of them are, I'd say like 10 to 12 are probably guaranteed at this point.
Yep.
So that's why I was saying 15 low end. If everything after this kind of just goes to shit. But you know what? If our first 4 clutches even just here go and nothing else, I'll be pretty happy with how things turn out.
Yeah, that is true.
There'll be a lot of cool pides.
Definitely starting the year with a bang.
Sorry, just going through the chat here. Anyway, these guys are crazy. All right. 3 to 5 year goals, Nick.
Obviously, I keep saying obviously. I don't know if that's a crash word for me tonight or something because I'm drinking. Building this out more. What Chris has been doing with this, I think, is super cool. So just keeping this going and figuring out ways we can kind of flesh that out. Breeding wise, obviously hitting that clown pied. And honestly, it's really hard to say, especially with a hobby like this, because things seem like they're changing and people are coming up with new things constantly. So it's like I don't really know, apart from like growth, where I would really want to be in 3 to 5 years, because saying something now could be entirely, like I might say I really want to lean into puzzle stuff, but next year somebody might do something really cool with Monarch or something else, and I might want to pivot in that direction and completely forget about puzzle entirely. So I think that's a really hard question.
I don't know who it was. I think it might have been Justin even that just said making plans for anything more than just next year is kind of foolish in a hobby like this, because all it takes is one animal, one crazy male that you buy, or a really good breeder female, or a really good breeder female that you plan to have breed for you next year that just doesn't go, or a male gets sick or goes off food and you can't use them. Like, it's very, very easy for big parts of your plans to change very, very quickly.
Yep.
Especially considering this time last year, if you would have asked us about 2021, would we have said that we're expecting a whole bunch of pied and hypopide head ultramel stuff and ultramel head hypopide stuff? Not in a million years. But that 100% changed the direction of most of our projects.
Yeah. If you would have asked us probably around your birthday last year, if we'd be working with Stranger by this time, we would have laughed in your face.
Yeah, if you would have asked me at my birthday if we'd have a almost breedable size stranger 100% het clown, I would have told you were fucking crazy.
So
And that purchase changed what?
Yep.
Plans for at least 5 females his
Yep.
first year.
I don't think we've ever followed through with the plans we had for a female when we purchased them. I think we've always come up with something different, or something else has come up.
You know what's funny? The only one I can think of that's breeding plan when we got her is still the same, is a snake that we're breeding that isn't even ours anymore. It's the pastel HRA pied that we sold to Jay that we're doing the joint clutch with right now. The plan when she got her from us was to put to our banana boy.
Yep.
And now that she's ready to breed, she's going to the banana boy. But
Yep.
I don't think anything we've bought. Yeah, I think you're right.
Because I'm just thinking about the dream package in particular. Like, we're just going to start pumping out dream stuff. That's going to like help bring in, just going to have a constant kind of flow of money coming in. And we're doing our first pairing to make dreamsicles this year. And that was 2 years ago.
We're not even using our best odds because the thought of hitting a dreamsicle is like, eh. So we have 2 double het females going, or one going, one hopefully going. And instead of using our dreamsicle male, we use the yellow belly pied het lab to both. And we are even talking about using the pastel clown het lab plus het pied to one of them. But unfortunately, he just got like ready now. If you saw my post yesterday, and we need to get a couple locks in before now.
Yep.
So instead of just aiming for the dreams now, I'd rather take the longer shot and hit a yellow belly dream, rather than hitting 2 or 3 visual dreamsicles. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Especially having that female growing up in our collection would be priceless. I don't even know how many yellow belly dreamsicles would be on the market right now. And then, having a male just in the rack, a yellow belly dreamsicle male, when we have 2 ivory het pied posset labs growing up, like, you can't really complain either way, right? So
yeah, exactly. Like, we're even planning on using our bigger lab het pied girl to prove out a male for another project entirely. So
yeah, and we have a black pastel lab het pied female that we could put to our dreamsicle male and just make, black pastel lab het pieds and then black pastel dreams. And instead we're putting her to the banana ODYB entry pied.
Yeah.
So yeah, things change a lot. When we first had that project, we thought we'd be making dreamsicles the first year. We bought them in 2019. They didn't produce for us 2019. They didn't produce for us 2020. And then here we are, 2021. They're finally going to drop us some eggs. We're not even going to try to make just dreams of them.
No,
we're doing more.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Oh, there we go.
It's funny. I don't really keep my technique a secret, but the other people I've told this haven't had the same success with it. So I don't know exactly what it is. So what I do is, the trick is frozen thawed. A lot of people think that they're picky eaters, you need to get them on with live, but I think a lot of the issues with some picky eaters is they're just scared. Like, they're getting freaked out. It's too much input with the live rat in the enclosure with them, and they're just shutting down. They're not eating it. So what I do is, they're nocturnal animals, so I usually try to get up. As Chris has mentioned, I have a weird sleep schedule, so I'm usually up at 3 or 4 in the morning. So try then, heat the rat up as hot as you can. What I do is I take a kettle, boil, like set it almost, like let it go almost to boil, but just before shut it off, pour that in a bigger bucket with your rats, out of a bag, like floating in the water with some room temperature water, then go immediately into your snake room, put them in, and then leave it alone for 8-12 hours. Don't check in on it, just leave it alone. I know that's hard for a lot of people to do, but that has been my trick. That usually gets them to eat, even if before they were only eating ASF. That has worked. There was one snake that the guy that we got them from hadn't eaten, it was a year, Chris, and I had it for 3 days, and it started eating for me. and that's all I did. I fed it at, I think it was 3 a.m.
And the funniest part about that animal is because most of the problem eaters, came from somebody who came from somebody who came from somebody. This animal was hatched by one of the most reputable people in Canada, and then was sold to someone that's reputable. And my finger quotations aren't saying they're questionably reputable.
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan. They're very reputable, apparently. And then the animal came to us with all these issues, and Nick still flipped it. So he doesn't just have a knack for getting like random snakes that can't have eating. So it's kind of neat.
Before we exactly move on, there's a breeder in our area, a bigger breeder, who people swear that animals they get directly from him are impossible to get to eat because he breeds his rats in the same room that his snakes are. So my challenge to myself was, for a little while, I want to get a snake from him and get him eating, and I did that last year. So there hasn't been anything that I really have been able to deal with.
Oh, here we go. First triple recessive Nick wants to go after.
Honestly, probably a DG clown pied would be the one for me. Those are probably my 3 favorite recessives. Like, I think DG does a lot cooler things than something like Hypo would do, or even like Ultramel or Lavs, like Lavender, or like, sorry, I was gonna say your albino options, like Lavender especially. Yeah, that's probably it for me. Actually, I completely forgot about something that we have. Monsoon would be really cool. Monsoon Clown Pod would be really cool. I don't even know what to think that would be.
We'll have to see the Monsoon Clown or Monsoon Pied first.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed that that's. I wish you were in your snake room. You could show her off. She's
super deep in shed right now, or I would actually go upstairs and get her. But
to people that are watching that don't know, we actually own a leopard special double het monsoon pied female. She's about 1,000 grams. Her name is the Car. Maybe we'll get into the story behind that. It's not a very long story, but
no.
The name just gets funnier and funnier, though, the more I think about it.
Yeah.
And I can't really describe why to people watching, so.
I know.
Oh, my God. Has anyone done anything with lace in pied or lavender? I know lace has been put into pied. I couldn't say the same about lavender in terms of knowing if it's been done. I think lace is going to be phenomenal in everything, so I don't think there's any question there.
Yep.
What's your fave non-recessive combo or gene?
My favorite, Chris knows that if he can't get a hold of me and he's thinking about buying an animal, if it has this gene in it, he really doesn't actually need to get my permission. I'll be fine with it, and it's Orange Dream.
Mm-hmm. It was really funny. We were at the Canadian Reptile Breeders Expo, not last year, but the year before. Well, not the last year it happened, but the year before. And Tyler typed up, I think he's in the comments, had asked me to pick up an animal that on the first day he didn't get around to buying, and he had changed his mind and wanted. So me and Nick walk up to this table, and I just go, yeah, that one, and hand the guy some cash. And Nick thought it was for us the whole time. It was just like, yep, I'm okay with this. What was it?
Fire, Orange Dream hat, Clown?
No, it was like Calico, Spider, Orange Dream, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Orange Dream, Yellow Belly, Fire, Spider. We both got a few right. There was no Calico. And Nick was just like, yep.
Yeah.
He was kind of disappointed when I told him it wasn't for us, actually.
Yeah, honestly. But yeah, I don't know what it is in particular about that gene, but it's always been my favorite.
Are you interested in any other species, even for just pets?
It's funny because this goes for both me and Chris, and we can kind of tell a bit of a funny story. So, I absolutely love Brazilian rainbow boas, in particular bullseye line hypo rainbow boas, which is one of the few morphs that are not a ludicrous amount of money. And Chris absolutely loves blackhead pythons. It was blackhead pythons, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the very first year we went to the Tinley Reptile Expo, what do we find for obscenely low prices, but blackhead pythons and a breeding pair, like not a breeding pair, but like a 1.1 pair of like a het hypo female and a visual hypo male rainbow boa. So like, oh shit, this is perfect. Like we can check both of these off our list right here. So we go over to the guy that we know that handles imports and tell him about this, and he kind of just laughs and is like, yeah, no, not possible to get them into Canada. So yep, that's the big one for me right now, is finding one of those. I've been offered a few regular, like not like just normal rainbow boas, but I'm holding out for the bullseye line hypo.
I'm getting tired of waiting for Nick to get one. I might just buy a normal one because I love them. I want to get a big female.
Yep, that's something we've talked about, wanting to take a shot at breeding, because a live litter would be very cool. And neither of us are particularly boa guys. I don't know if I'm speaking really too much for Chris there, but
nope.
So yeah, so
exactly enough, because I am not a boa guy.
So yeah, that's kind of the one way that we would get to experience that. The other one that we've kind of dabbled with a little bit, but unfortunately kind of didn't go our way, was cat snakes, the green-headed cat snakes. We had a pair of those, but both of them ended up dying on us very suddenly. So
yeah, parasites or something. Unfortunately,
yeah,
they were not. Their origins weren't quite fully truthed to us before we picked them up.
Yeah, they were sold to us as captive bred, but more than likely they were captive hatched and like wild sourced. So that's something you run into with that.
Yeah, that sucked. I miss those things.
Yep.
That's funny. I said I'm going to get you that first boa for sure. So I actually told Tyler if his one female has a litter, I told him I'd buy one.
That's like, honestly, sometimes I see some like really cool, like Tyler always gets mad at me because I fuck up the boa combos, but anery combos and stuff like that. And I think maybe I want one, but then I see the way they get when they're big, and that's just not. Like, I'm not one of those reptile guys that's in particularly attracted to the bigger animals. Like, ball pythons are probably the biggest thing I want to work with. I tend to like the smaller stuff. Like, my big passion in reptiles is actually New Caledonian geckos, like chahuas, cresteds, lychees, all of that good stuff. I don't have a gargoyle yet, but I really would like one. But yeah, I'm more of a gecko guy.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Maybe we can convince Nick to join more of these lives.
Yeah, there was one I was going to tag into a while back, but plans changed. But you don't be too surprised if you start seeing more of me on these, especially now that the restrictions are starting to lift a little bit in the province we live in.
So. Yeah, as of Tuesday. All right. What made you realize you wanted to work with animals, Nick?
Honestly, since I was a kid, it was something I always kind of wanted to do. But in a lot of ways, I don't really have the stomach to be a veterinarian. So finding a way to do that was tough. And I guess I'm not really on these. So I'm a vegetarian. I was vegan for a little while. Like, I'm a big animal rights person. So even like breeding mammals didn't feel too right for me. So once I started learning about how well like ball pythons and like the New Caledonian geckos do in captivity, and how it's a huge part of conservation for certain species, I kind of got behind it in a big way. So it's kind of always just been something I wanted to do. Just had to find the right slot for it. Because this was a last minute thing, and unfortunately,
it really was.
I didn't have anything ready to go. So
unfortunately, Nick gets even fewer shirts than I do. I kind of get the runoff from Billy, and then when Nick's really lucky, somebody remembers Nick's a part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of, unless they're friends of ours, Nick unfortunately gets missed a lot in the t-shirts. Yeah. So
thank you, Reggie and Atypical in particular. Those two have made their way to me, and I like them both very much. So I was gonna wear those. I usually when I go to clean my snake room, will throw on a snake shirt. So didn't have anything ready to go.
All right. Well, this is for you. I've answered this question a lot, but this is for you, Nick.
The biggest thing for me, and I think I said it on the podcast me and Chris did, and I think I said it again on that live we did on our way back from Mordex, but don't go into something just because it's lucrative. Like if you're planning on getting into this, don't only get pied stuff, or like don't go after what the big hot thing is right now if that's not what you're interested in doing, because that's going to be great your first 3 or 4 months into doing this, but 6 or 7 or a year later, when you're still waiting for these animals to grow up and you have to go in every day and you've got to clean out those bins and you've got to check those waters and you've got to deal with the picky eaters, you need it. Like it's going to be so much easier and you're going to love it if it's something you're actually excited about every time you open that bin. And if you're working with a lot of like het animals that don't really look that good, or you're working with something you're not super crazy about because right now it's the big expensive thing and you were lucky enough to get a leg in, like having something like that in your back pocket is great, but don't make that your main focus because it's going to be really easy for you to burn out on it.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you just jump into this, especially buying up your Craigslist or your Kijiji, and just filling your racks with any snakes you can get, males, females, whatever, and you're just throwing them together because you want to sell them for 150 bucks a pop. I guarantee you, first of all, you're not going to make any money doing that because you're going to be spending way more time and energy trying than actually producing and making. And on top of that, yeah, like Nick said, you're going to burn out. You just, if you don't love it, don't do it. Just
Yep.
don't.
And that's why I'm lucky, and Chris jokes about it all the time, but a lot of the pretty animals end up here. And it's because a big thing that motivates me every morning to go up there and like clean those bins, or like make sure I'm working with those problem feeders, is because I get so excited seeing them and seeing them grow and breaking through those walls with them.
One thing I don't think I've ever actually said on one of these is people always comment on how nice our animals are and stuff like that. And obviously, like, thanks to everybody that does that. But 90% of the stuff we post is stuff that's at my house because I'm the one that generally updates our Instagram. Occasionally, you'll get a snake from Nick's place thrown in there, but because it's been COVID and everything's been locked down for a long time, I get very few pictures from Nick's place. So the amount of crazy stuff Nick has hiding away that generally we show maybe once every 10 months is outstanding. Like, I'm jealous of what's at Nick's place. But I mean, I'm excited about the power we have here.
Yeah.
And I also got to keep most of our holdbacks from this year, which are pretty fucking cool. But he definitely has the aesthetically pleasing stuff. But this thing that sucks about it is they're not just pretty, they're all powerful as all hell too. Like, so you look at it, you're just like, what the hell?
Yeah. There's a row up until I had to. Well, wasn't a bad thing, but up until I had to move the car into the auto rack, there was like a what the fuck row in my grow up rack where we had 3 of our most powerful animals right beside each other. So that was nice to have.
That was pretty awesome. Nick's favorite and least favorite thing about the hobby.
Favorite thing is honestly just kind of like educating people on reptiles and sort of breaking through barriers with people that are sort of afraid of them. Like something that Chris posts a lot on his personal social media feed is like the pictures of, oh, like you're terrified of being bitten by a snake, but what your cat or your dog can do to you is way different. And especially being a vegetarian and a person that has a lot of like friends that are the same way and have a lot of preset notions about people that work with animals, it's cool pushing through that. Least favorite thing is all the misinformation that's bandied about that actually ends up impacting the quality of the animals' lives. Like the people that think animals need enrichment and have them in enclosures that don't suit their needs. People that think that ball pythons only need to eat once every 3 months, and if you feed them any more than that, you're abusing them and they're overweight. Just stuff like that. Stuff that's not. It's just based on pseudoscience, and if you actually know anything about the animals themselves, you realize is utter bullshit. So yeah, just kind of that. Just because the way it's kind of the way the world is now, because internet is so easy to ingest and to spew back out, that kind of gets muddled.
How often do you find yourself shooting for long odds instead of guaranteed visuals in your recessive projects?
I want to say probably 75% of the time.
Is that what you're going with? Because I'm letting you answer this before I say anything.
Yeah, I think that's about right, because there's definitely some pairings we do that we bank on, like, this should. But the thing is, I'm thinking about how it's proved out, and even if we do something that should have pretty strong odds, it doesn't work out in our favor. So
yeah, so that's what I was going to say. It's funny because I feel like last year we did a clown pairing because we were like, screw it, we want to make some clowns. This year we did the same with a pied pairing. We did our banana ODYB Enchi pied to a pastel HRA pied. We've never made a pied before, so we were like, screw it, we're forcing it. Like, we're not giving it the option. I don't know. Every time we try to set ourselves up with quite good odds at doing something, I feel like we just end up walking off a cliff. I don't know why. Last year, we did a yellow belly het pied female to our yellow belly pied het lavender male. This is a proven female, and she's proven het pied. We got 6 eggs. 6 eggs. So we had a 1 in 2 shot of hitting a pied, and we had a 1 in 4 shot of hitting an ivory. So it was 1 in 8 to hit an ivory pied. Don't we beat the odds and hit 2 ivories? No pieds.
Yep.
And that just seems to be how our luck goes. We end up hitting some cool stuff, but not the cool stuff we were trying to hit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But out of the one het-to-het pairing that we had last year that we didn't even do.
But that wasn't our decision.
Yeah, that's true. We ended up with, it was what, 7 eggs, and 5 were visuals.
5 out of 7, yep.
So
yeah, so our longest odds clutch gave us our best results we've ever had. Our longest odds clutch gave us more visuals than we've ever made from a het to a visual. Because the only other time we've made visuals from a het to a visual was in 2019 when we put the lesser blade clown to the Enchi het clown. We hit the 2 lesser clowns, but she still produced more. So yeah, it's just the odds are something different. I don't know. Just really hoping that whatever evil spirit we pissed off is fucked up
done with us
this year. Yeah.
So it's just gone.
Next place, the gold mine / secret stash. That's what we should call your place.
Yeah.
The secret stash.
And like, honestly, it kind of fell this way because Chris was the one who had the incubator, so all of our breeding was done at his place, and I had the grow-ups, and because most of our crazy animals we bought as hatchlings, they were growing up here, but that's since pivoted, and we kind of need to rebalance things, but it's still fun.
What feelings on the Moray gene, Nick?
Honestly, I don't really know a lot about it. That's the one that is probably Monsoon, right? So I like Monsoon, so that means I probably like Moray.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, I don't really know enough about it.
That's funny. How hard is it to pick a place to eat when y'all go out together? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's tough to say, but usually, honestly, in Canada, we're pretty lucky that we have A&W that will kind of work for both of us. Like, I can get a really good veggie burger there, and he can get a really good, like, normal burger there that will, and they'll cater to his very specific requirements for condiments. Yeah. It was funny, in the States, we realized that when we went up for Tinley, it was much more difficult because there was a couple places that I went and I'm like, well, I can get cheese, I can get deep fried cheese and French fries. So that's pretty much what I lived off of.
I was pretty jealous of the deep fried cheese curds, though.
Yeah. What was that? Culver's.
Culver's, yep.
That place was great.
We were
Nobody's really
literally talking about that place in the Discord 2 days ago because they were talking about like In and Out versus Five Guys and all this kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And somebody mentioned Culver's, and I was like, "Is that the buttered buns place?" That's how I remember them.
The deep fried cheese curds is what I got from there, and they were absolutely delicious.
They were phenomenal. Oh, this is a good question.
A couple, and it's not because they were bad ideas. It's more that we've just sort of outgrown them. Like, we've kind of had a couple times where we've been offered either packages that have kind of pushed us forward or a good deal on a certain animal. So, a while ago, we didn't have any GHI animals, so we were offered a package. It was a 1.2. It was a Mojave Enchi GHI male, a yellow belly GHI smaller female, and a regular GHI female that was pretty much breeder size.
Yeah, and when he says smaller female, he means she was like almost ready to breed, like 1,200 grams.
Yeah, smaller in comparison to the other bigger female. So
Ouch.
me and Chris jumped on it. Got them here. Unfortunately, the big girl stopped eating. And then in the interim, me and Chris got a couple offers for one was a super GHI het clown.
Super GHI Mojave het clown.
That's what it was. I knew there's something else in there. And I think there was another one too that I'm forgetting.
Leopard GHI double het clown pied.
Yes. So we got that, and then the smaller of the two females, the leopard, the yellow belly GHI that we got, actually has exploded in size, and is we've actually gotten a couple locks from our Enchi asphalt pied male to her. So we were talking about it the other day, and it's like, yeah, that big GHI that we were super excited about, who's not so big anymore because she hasn't eaten in almost a year. We probably don't need her anymore. So it was a good idea at the time because we literally had no GHI, and that was a huge gap in our collection. But now, kind of don't need her anymore.
Well, we got two big females and that smaller female from that deal.
Yeah, you're right.
Here. I have a massive girl here that's just not building yet.
Yeah. So
that was a good deal, though. I'm still not upset about it.
Yeah.
There's quite a few questions now. Here you go. Nick, is there any gene you absolutely refuse to work with? And if so, why?
Not really. Like, I know some people are iffy about spider, but I really don't buy into the whole, like, every single spider is going to have wobble. Same with womas. Like, I have a woma animal that has barely any wobble. Like, I've had her for 4 years now, and I've never seen her wobble once. We have spider animals that the same exact thing goes for. So I really don't buy into the idea that, like, there is something inherently bad. Yes, there's things you need to work around. Obviously, caramel females, there's the issue with breeding. Obviously, spider to spider, like, there's things you need to avoid, but there's no genes that I would inherently not work with.
I wouldn't work with desert.
Well, yeah, I guess I got into the hobby at a time where desert wasn't a thing, so I don't really think about desert. So
fair enough. What would you say classifies an animal as a powerhouse? I like this question because if you ever scroll through Instagram, every purchase anyone ever made is a powerhouse. Oh, I just picked up this pastel het clown female. What a powerhouse. Like, wow. Pump the brakes. But yeah, I want to know.
So in my mind, it's a combination of not like codominant genes and either a visual recessive or a like het, like a non-visual, like being het for something, like something that you can take. And if you have just a visual clown, like a het clown female or a visual clown female or a het pied female, like visual pied female, and you can take this male and breed it to her and get 2 or 3 different visual pieds or visual clowns from it, that's a powerhouse animal.
So I actually figured out, and I'm not gonna lie, I figured this out very high. But somebody asked this question in another live I was watching, and I was thinking about it, and I say 4 genes. 4 genes is my rule now. Sure, you can have a boring 4 gene combo, but it still gives you a ton of potential for offspring, right? So 4, say, codominant or dominant genes would be on the low end of powerhouse. But for every 1 gene you lose, you can add a recessive.
Yeah.
So a 4 gene, like all just single genes, animal, or a 3 gene recessive animal, fucking powerhouse. Any 3 genes in a visual recessive is a powerhouse. 2 genes, 2 recessive. Powerhouse, right? And you do this, you just keep going.
That makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. But it probably does. It was like when when we were that day at Billy's when we were all trying to wrap our head around the whole
quad head thing.
Yeah, where at first it didn't, but then when we kept like chewing it out, like all of us working it over in our heads, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, I kind of get it. So I think there's something there if we dug into it deep enough. No, I know Jason's just joking, but no.
Justin put out a video, I think yesterday, saying he's putting a GHI Suma to a stranger this year. So that's pretty cool.
Like having seen both in person now, I don't think so. Like I think there's some crazy mahoganies that can look like stranger, but I don't think you're gonna find a stranger out there that looks like a mahogany.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. Not yet, but maybe. The big GHI we have here is going to the Banana ODYB entry pied. So there'll be some cool stuff out of that one. There was something else. Oh.
So
you don't have to say if you don't want to.
Nothing illegal. But I have been through some unfortunate circumstances. I've been lucky enough to end up with a large amount of money to work with investment-wise, and have been incredibly lucky in those investments I make. I actually used to work full-time as a, I guess it would be like an assistant supervisor in the logistics sort of department, like the warehouse, so like shipping, receiving, loss prevention side of things at Best Buy. But I left that about 2 years ago. And I'm actually, I guess this is kind of a big announcement. Chris doesn't even know about this, but I'm going back to school in the fall for like social work. So something else. So yeah, I'm a man. I wear many hats.
Well, congrats.
Thank you.
Oh, and something I totally forgot to mention when I was doing the intro. The reason that we're doing this tonight is because we had something lined up that didn't pan out. Nick was supposed to be next week. The reason Nick was supposed to be next week is actually Nick's birthday. So everybody just drop a happy birthday in the chat there for him. But the other thing is we had an egg that we were actually going to cut at the beginning of the Friday Night Live. Just one egg, but unfortunately it has not made it. So yeah. It's happening tonight.
Yep. Surprise. Thank you, unnamed guest, but hey, it worked out. I honestly didn't have anything going on, so this works out.
Do you know what he got?
No.
I think it's pretty awesome, and I think you would agree that it's pretty awesome. I'm not going to say what it is, but if you guys want to go follow Hyped Up Reptiles on Instagram, he, I'm sure, will reveal it. It's pretty insane. It's Nick, it's similar to something we produced this year that we weren't expecting to produce. That's a hint, and then I'm not going to say anymore.
Dog shit?
No, stop guessing, because if you say it, then it's going to give it away.
No one knows who dog shit is.
They might. I don't know.
Okay. I'll leave it at that.
Everybody's throwing happy birthdays.
Thank you. I'm ripe young 31.
I'm hitting these too fast now. Oh, freeway or super asphalt, Nick?
It was funny when I first got into this. One of my dream snakes was a freeway, which I got very early and have now pivoted over to the super asphalt side of things. Because when me and Chris talk about what to do with our asphalt girls, he's just like, "Oh, we can make these crazy freeway combos," and I'm like, "But super asphalt, and we could make another and she's super asphalt, which probably wouldn't be great. We have a super asphalt girl growing up anyway, so he's probably
pastel and she's super asphalt pos triple het hypoalbinopide female. Yeah. That's one of those treasure snakes hiding away at Nick's.
Yep. Thank you. That makes me feel young. Storm.
I know I missed something. Where did it go? Oh, I lost it. I mean, if anybody else has any questions, throw them out there. My rats are being assholes. Sorry, guys.
I was about to ask if those were the rats or the hedgehogs.
One sec. I fixed it. Oh, there's June. What's up, buddy? Okay, Nick. Since I'm waiting on, I'm going to ask my question because they took too long to answer. Or yeah. If you got to pick one pairing we're doing this year to get a clutch from, and that's the only pairing we get a clutch from, which one is it?
Okay, can I put like a prerequisite on this?
No.
Okay. This is tough. And it proved like what we're aiming for is what we get.
Nope. It's still up in the air. It's just the only clutch you get, and you have the same odds you should have or will have. Yeah. It's
That's to be really hard.
I know.
Probably the banana combo Pied Boy to the ODHRA Het Pied.
Was that going to be your answer before too?
No, the one with the no. So the one with the caveat is the pastel clown Het Lav Pos Het Pied first proves out to the Java, then we breed him to one of the visual clown Het Pies that we got from Costco, and that's the clutch.
That's not. It's got to be something we have lined up for this year.
Yeah. So that. Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So yeah, that's easily up there for me. Like the thought of hitting a super OD Pied anything is nuts. Melusine was way too late. We've already talked about this. Nick has the secret stash. Like I have some cool stuff, but Nick has the cool stuff.
I have the super asphalt that Chris just mentioned. I have Chris is gonna have to help me because I always forget what's in her. The Blackhead, Pos Gene X, Mojave.
Blackhead, Mojave, Leopard, Yellow Belly, possible Gene X Pied.
I have that crazy girl we got from Will, the Leopard, Orange Dream, Cinnamon,
Spectre / Yellow Belly,
Het Pied that is just absolutely insane.
You have that crazy pastel, Yellow Belly, Lavender, whatever it is, female.
Yep. I have the
pastel Lithium Clown. That thing's insane looking.
I have the Champagne Special Enchi Boy.
Yep.
That might be Het Monsoon. I have the I can't remember. Hypo Orange Dream HRA Het Pied.
Oh, Super Pastel. Super Pastel. Hypo. Het Red. Het Pied.
Het Red. Yep. I have our Phantom Pied. I have a lot of our visual Pied female, like combo females. So I have our Phantom Pied, I have our Cinnamon Pied. I have our Java Pied.
What did you just put in the auto rack you haven't mentioned yet?
Oh, yeah, the car. I have the Leopard Special, Double Het, Monsoon Pied. I have our Scaleless Head, our Yellow Belly Scaleless Head female.
Pastel Yellow Belly Scaleless Head. She's unreal looking in person. You have the Enchi Asphalt Het Pied male.
Yeah.
You have a lot of really, really cool stuff.
I have the Golden Star girl, the Enchi Special.
Oh, yeah.
Female.
He has my favorite snake that we own.
Yeah.
Even though he has nicer ones, he keeps this.
But to be fair, he has my favorite snake that we own. He has a Banana Boy.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I do.
So it balances out.
Okay, here we go. What's your dream aquarium fish to have or that
Um,
you've had?
Discus. My parents. So my parents had a friend. We used to go to Florida every year for a couple months, and my parents had a friend down there that bred discus. They had this big warehouse. I'm not going to get into the specifics of breeding discus, but it's really cool. If you know anything about them, the color they turn is all dependent on the color that is in their tanks, essentially. So they're super fragile fish, but having a nice tank of discus would be really really cool.
Cool.
Oh, this is a bit of a sore subject. So we had a really cool shatter female. She was a pastel shatter
Calico.
and pastel calico shatter, and we picked her up at a show. And unfortunately, the person that we got her from had just sort of tossed all of his snakes into a cooler, and it unfortunately seemed like our tiny little hatchling had ended up at the bottom of this cooler underneath everything else. So
Adults and stuff. Yep.
didn't really make it. So ever since that, it's kind of put in a bad taste in our mouth about that gene. So we haven't really gone back to it. But I don't think that's going to be a permanent thing. Like
No,
both me and
I
Chris.
think we'll get to it
Yeah,
eventually. It's just not the first thing we want to go
yeah. After
after.
that, because she was such a cool female. Like think of a regular calico, but instead of the sides being white, they're black. Like she was incredible. Uh no, because I need him for a lot of the knowledge side of things. I rely on him too much to break off on my own.
I
We're
just
like one
like
of those
Nick. I just
yeah.
wouldn't because I like Nick, but I guess Nick has a
Yeah.
reason.
We're like one of those like me and Chris are both big wrestling fans, so like we're like one of those tag teams that never breaks up. Like we're gonna be like the fucking the Rock and Roll Express. We're in our 60s and we're still doing this together.
How do you feel about 66% hets?
Love them.
We haven't had one prove out yet.
I like them more than 50% hets.
That's fair. That's very fair.
So if we're talking about between those two,
I like pos hets only if you need the animal anyway. If you have like perfect example, we have a what is she pastel asphalt / yellow belly
yep,
pos het pied, right?
yep,
So basically, we have this animal that we're double gambling on. She could just be a pastel yellow belly, right? Um, or she could end up being a pastel asphalt het pied. So I think it's 66% chance of being het pied and then 50
yep,
and 50 of asphalt or yellow belly. So you're playing with odds pretty well there. But like even if this animal doesn't prove out to be either, she's
yep,
still a pastel yellow belly. Whatever we breed her to by the time she's ready to breed, we'll still make insane stuff with a pastel yellow belly.
yep.
It'll
We have a
make
couple.
way crazier stuff if it's a pastel asphalt het pied, because I'm sure we'll have some crazy asphalt, pied yellow belly or asphalt combo male to put to it. But you know what I mean? You just want to make sure that you're not depending on the het.
Yep.
Because that can go bad pretty quick and put a sour taste in your mouth. But that's
Like we
how
have a
I
couple.
feel about it.
Yeah, we have a couple girls like Chris mentioned. Like I have one here that's OD, Orange Dream, Pos, Yellow Belly, Asphalt, 66% het pied. So
Oh, Orange Dream. That's what she was. Sorry, not
yeah,
pastel.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if we were talking about the same girl.
Yeah,
And
oh,
then
yeah. No.
um,
I downplayed her, I guess. Yeah, no, she's OD. You're right.
the other girl we picked up the day. I think that was the pastel you're thinking about. The pastel pastel Yellow Belly spot nose, 66% het dream.
No, that one's not pastel. That's just yellow belly spot nose.
Okay, then I don't know.
That's why she has that crazy head that I love.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. We have way too much pastel.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, thanks, Cody. Please do.
Thank you. Yeah, love that.
Just seeing if there's any other questions kicking around here. You're not reading that. Okay. If you have a snake that's pos het, would you factor that into the pairing to try and prove it out at the same time, or factor it into the pairing to try and prove it out at the same time? Yeah. Sorry, I was going to read that correctly.
Usually that's what we try to do. I don't think we've ever used something that's a pos het just for its co-dominant genes.
No.
We've always every pairing we've pretty much done. I think we have one this year, but it's going to make some pretty crazy co-dominant combos. Like almost every single one of our pairings has been het for some, like had a recessive gene in it.
Yeah, it's either making hets or using hets or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think this question factors into what I was just talking about. I would use a pos het in a situation where you don't mind making 100% hets if the animal doesn't prove. You know what I mean? Like, that you should already be excited for the combo or whatever you're doing with that animal, even if it doesn't prove. So in the case of Nick and I, that ODE asphalt/yellow belly, even if that animal doesn't prove het pied, whatever we put to that animal is still going to make incredible hets that we'll be excited to have and we'll probably want to hold back. So we're not depending on the het, but we will factor it into the pairing on the off chance it does prove out.
Yeah, I noticed that too. If I've been trying to not keep my arms down, so if I do this with my beard, it's just all black. It's dark.
If you angle the camera up a little bit more, you'll always be a floating head.
Yeah, it's dark in my basement, and I pretty much wear black, and my hat's not helping my beard. But I show you I'm a full person. I do too. I honestly, you don't have the same shit luck that we do, so
So this one that he just posted, pastel OD, possibly high OD, 100% het live, 66% het pied. See, that's great because even if your animal doesn't prove het pied, it's still a pastel OD het lavender.
Yep.
Like, you're not going to be making bad stuff with that animal. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Do you want to take that?
Again, I struggle to think of something because me and Chris really, it probably sounds like bullshit because we want to seem like yeah, we get along. We really don't disagree on much.
Sometimes, and weirdly enough, when we do disagree on something, it's usually because Nick gets one of his feelings, and I don't want to listen. But generally, Nick gets these because you're not going to bring this up. Generally, Nick goes I don't know, I'm getting one of those feelings about this, and it always turns out for us, and I don't know why.
The funniest story about it is so again, when we're at Sinley, when on our way, this was around the time that sandblast stuff was super big. The urban camos were super expensive still. People every time people were posting on social media, it was exploding. So it was something me and him were kind of talking about, and when we got there, we saw a lot priced for a lot lower than it was on Morph Market. So we're like, oh, that's kind of weird, and we were talking about picking something up because it was so cheap. And sure enough, one of our friends at the show actually managed to get us an even better deal on a pastel sandblast het pied. And we're I just had this weird feeling about it because in my head, it's why are these animals that we're selling for around $4,000 or $5,000 on Morph Market now on tables for between 2 and 3, and we're being offered one for even less than that? That doesn't seem right. And Chris was but man, think about we could be the first people in Canada with sandblast. This would be perfect for us. You really want to pass this up? And I told him that if I was wrong, I would be willing to get our logo tattooed on my ass. I will do this. I just feel bad about it. So he's okay, fine. And I know Chris, he would hold me to this. There was a few times where I've forgotten to grab him, to ask him if he wants coffee when I go to get a coffee. And I still have not lived this down. So sure enough, we come home. I think it was a month or two later, and we're at Billy's, and we're taking a break. I'm browsing Morph Market, and I'm like, I'm going to take a look at Sandblast. And sure enough, some Cinnamon Sandblast combos were up there. Some other combos that weren't what you needed to make an urban camo were up, and it was literally just a boring ass base snake. And I showed that to Kristen. He's like, you were right. You were honestly right. And since then, the price on Sandblast has dipped off pretty considerably because it's a one-trick pony.
I mean, it's really nice to have another harder way to make a champagne.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know why you would want to.
But yeah, I don't know. Somebody might do, and that's the other thing too. Like, as I'm shitting on Sandblast, I also try to never write off a gene, because somebody just needs to make that one new combo or mix it in with the right thing, and it's alive. Like, the one that I always think of is Banana, because when I got into the hobby, Banana was super down. Like, I think you could get a visual Banana female for $600, and obviously it hasn't gone up too much more, but people have been putting in those, like the Banana male that we have, some other crazier clown combos, and now it's starting to be back up on the rise, and it's definitely not as dead as it was perceived to be.
Yeah, definitely dipped down and then came back. Like, there was a considerable rebound. Well, I shouldn't say considerable. It was slight, but it was noticeable. That's what I want to say. I want to know your thoughts on this too.
It's tough. That's honestly something that me and Chris have kind of avoided because of that. Because honestly, the only way to really do it is to have I guess you're making double heads. Like, you're making triple heads, essentially. You're going to take a visual double male or female to a visual whatever the other third is, and start there. Like, you got to start at the ground, really.
I think it's very dependent on whatever project you're getting into. I'd say probably the most economic, faster way to do it, instead of buying, either one of each visual and taking the 20 years it'll take you to get to it. Because if you start with an albino male and a pied female and a xanthic female, it's going to take you a long time to combine all those the right proper ways to hit the triple. If you start out with a double recessive male and a single recessive female, you have all the parts, but you're still working very long odds, even when you get your triple hets back to your triple hets. If you just go and buy right now a, say, lavender het pied male or female, and then a clown het pied whatever the other sex is, raise them up, because they'll be pricey, but neither of those animals will be over the top expensive, especially if your clown het pied is your male and your lavender het pied is your female. Raise them up, breed them together. Then you're starting with visual, like single gene visual double hets. You have halved your odds of hitting the triple. And then you just go from there. And it's, you're 1 in 16. And hopefully from your first clutch that you got from the visual het to visual het, you got a few females to hold back. And that's the way I would do it.
Yep.
That's a good question.
Depends on the mood, honestly. Depends on what I want to do. Like, if I want to go somewhere, like if I want to go to a different country, it's probably Sierra. If I want to like get real drunk and stoned and watch some wrestling, it's Chris. So depends on what I want to do.
Sierra and I both have very strong personalities, also. So
yeah, to them together is it's a lot of fun.
Fun.
Oh, Mexico was a blast.
I know. I'm just messing around. Alrighty. Well, I don't know if anybody has any more questions, but yeah, I haven't eaten yet, and we've gone through most of this before. You're just hearing it from Nick's mouth. So, probably going to wrap it up if nobody drops any more questions here. And then, as Nick said, he's going to try to be a little more active around these parts.
Yeah.
Oh, least favorite gene, Nick?
Lesser, because it doesn't work with Pied.
That's funny because we have so much lesser.
Yeah, and there's been so many times we've been trying to think of something to do with a female. I'm like, oh, we can put it to this male. I'm like, fuck, can't Pied.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably it. I like lesser as a gene, but I just don't like how restrictive it is. Same goes for butter, because they're the same.
And I think they're the same, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, June says hi.
Hello.
What's up, buddy?
Good to see you too.
Kathleen said the answer should have been banana. Well,
I love
everybody isn't
banana.
you, Kathleen, and banana's awesome. So
I absolutely love
suck
banana.
it up.
Yeah, I love jeans that brighten the color.
I'm very excited for this year with the amount of banana pied combos we'll be knocking out.
Yeah.
So
We've been discussing something behind the scenes because of that. I don't think it's time to reveal it quite yet, but I think it'll be exciting.
alrighty. Well, whoa. This is a interesting question. I don't know if you remember. I told you the answer to this before.
No.
Apparently it does.
Okay.
But there's only been one proven case. So I don't know how truthful that is, but somebody has made lesser enchipides that had pattern and didn't have small eyes.
Okay.
But they were very different than a normal enchipide.
Interesting. So that might be, maybe that's something me and you eventually take a look at.
I mean, we're going to have to, since we have lesser, and 2 of our 3 double head clown pied 50% had hypo females.
And Io is enchi butter, so we just put her to a.
Nope. That's a good question. I'm going to keep going until these start running out.
The one big mistake that I've made is leaving a live rat in too long, because all I've done is feed frozen thawed, but that's been about it, because thankfully I've had Chris, who because I've leaned on him so much for my knowledge, usually when I think of something, I bounce it off him first, and he's just like, no, that's stupid, you're an idiot, never do that. So thankfully I've made those mistakes. So
yeah, that's another really big thing about having somebody that's like invested in this with you, is like, if they're their animals also, they're gonna respond. Yeah, you're never gonna have to wait 12 hours before that person gets back to you, unless it's Nick and he's sleeping at 1 in the afternoon. But
that happens more than
it definitely helps having somebody that will respond to you right away, whether it's the stupidest question they've ever read or a legitimate question.
Mm-hmm. So that's something I'm very lucky to have. It's throwing me off.
Who's your favorite female Canadian YouTuber with blue hair? I don't have one.
It must be Kathleen.
I don't have one.
Give it to anybody else.
I pick no one.
Did Sierra dye her hair blue?
She's not on YouTube.
Oh, but she's been in a couple of these. So
yeah, well, that's true. She has. Apparently, June is shipping Sal Yellow Belly Clown Pied. That's kind of rude. I mean, we don't want to buy a Clown Pied anyway, but that's still kind of rude.
That's we always say that, and then one comes up for sale, and we have way too hard of a time saying no to it.
But we will, and we will keep saying no until we make a crazy one.
We just need that. We just need that boy to prove out Hepide, and we're there.
Oh.
Yes. I'm gonna, even like, I'm just not. Chris can attest to this. I'm just really not a social media person, or like in general. Even like replying to text sometimes takes me hours. So it's just really not. It's not that I don't like want to be a part of it. It's just really not how I'm built. Like I'm an in-person call you type of dude.
Literally, Nick will let our messages build up till he's like 10 behind and then just call me and be like, I'm
Yeah,
going to go through all these messages with you on the phone because it'll be quicker than me typing
yeah.
back all of them.
It's just I don't know. It's just never. That's just always been the way I've been. Like I've never Facebook. I'm a ghost. I have an Instagram account of my own just to follow stuff. Sorry, I gotta step away from
Okay.
this.
All right. Well, guys, I think there is no better place to end it than right there. Um, if Nick comes back before we are not live, I will also let him say goodbye. But I really don't know how I'm going to fill. Oh, there he is.
Sorry,
Perfect.
I've been trying to get a case of beer delivered for like all day, and this has been the sixth phone call about it, and apparently it's 8 minutes away. So hopefully
Oh,
this
nice.
is.
All right. Well, anyway, I was just saying we were going to end it. If you came back in time, you'd be able to say goodbye. But yeah, if there's anything you want to say to everybody, feel free.
Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for showing up and being so interested to hear about me. And yeah, like I said, I will be trying to be more present. I will. Me and Chris always used to joke because again, we're both big wrestling fans. I'm a huge like wrestling history nerd. So the big thing for when we were kind of kids watching was the whole Hulk Hogan NWO third man thing. So I always joked around that like I should always just be referred to as like the mystery partner, and then eventually be revealed. But it would have only popped me and Chris, so it's good we didn't do that.
But yeah, basically, Nick,
Yep.
happy early birthday since this
Thank
should have
you.
been on your birthday. And yeah, we will have to make sure that Nick becomes a little more involved and at least pops into these once in a while. Especially now that we have everything set up to do so. So thanks for coming on, Nick. Obviously, this was last minute, so appreciate it. And thanks everybody for hanging out. It was a fun night. I'm glad it ended up working out the way it did. And yeah, I'll talk to you later, Nick. See you, everybody.